Hi, FAQers. Welcome to episode 6 of Food FAQ with Mariela and
Eric.
Hey, Keith.
How you doing, Mariela?
So today we're going to get right into the sucker. We're going to talk about kitchen basics equipment, pans, handheld electronics. What do we need in the kitchen? Where are we going to start?
All right. So we're going to start first with like some pots and pans and things like that. So people want to know what I need to keep in their kitchen collection. So I kind of broke it down to like 4 basic things I think a person needs to start out their kitchen. So let's jump into it. So one is a saucepan. So you need like a saucepan, a big one. So,
a big one, you guys. Big.
Madi,
like,
so talk about a saucepan. Like, what do you mean by saucepan?
So like imagine a large frying pan, but with tall sides, maybe at least like 4 to 5 inches tall, and a big handle where you can contain like a sauce, a pasta, deep fry a cutlet, or saute something or add pasta and sauce all in one spot. Like you need like this is like your multi-purpose pan, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
And
yeah.
I'm going to get into this, but we'll get into it with a frying pan, but we also need a frying pan too.
Yes.
So why do we need a frying pan and a saucepan?
Okay, so I find that a frying pan is useful when I'm literally just frying, right? If I'm just going to make a chicken cutlet or something, it's easier for me to use the pan because the sides are shallow and it's a little bit easier to get things in there and get them out. Where with a saucepan,
cutlet. Are you hungry for chicken cutlets?
That's like really the only thing I fry with any regularity. And yes, I love a chicken cutlet. Like you can never get me to say no to a chicken cutlet.
You make a really good chicken cutlet.
Right. Which I talk about, I think, a lot.
Yeah, twice already right now. You're like, you know what? I need one of those chicken cutlets.
Oh my God, so good. Do you use a frying pan?
I do. I have a frying pan. I don't really fry much, but I do have a frying pan. Frying pan's also easy to like saute things in also. I mean, that's like, a very shallow type of frying, but saute things if you're making like ground meats or stuff like that, or just penneing something, I use a frying pan.
It's a good quickie.
Yeah, it is. If I'm like, like my saucepan, if I'm like doctoring up a jar of sauce, because I do use jar sauces on weeknights. Yes. So when you doctor it up, because you don't just eat it right out of the jar.
That's blasphemy.
It is. It's food FAQ blasphemy. So saucepans, I use it for that. The big thing is also, by the way, if you're out there buying new pans and new pots, it would be really helpful if that saucepan or that frying pan can go directly into the oven too.
And with a lid.
Yes. And with a lid. Yes.
So good. Lids are sexy.
What'd you say?
Lids are sexy.
Yeah.
I find them to be very hot.
Don't kink shame here, Mariela. So it needs to go into the oven. Just because there's gonna be recipes we're going to talk about where you're going to penne something, get things kind of crispy, and then get them into the oven. We won't be talking about that today, but
no.
Soon.
But there it is.
All right. Boiling pot. So like,
what do you mean by this boiling pot?
It's like a big pot.
Right.
That you can put a lot of water into it and boil stuff.
Like potatoes.
Potatoes, things like that. Rice, It's actually really versatile. You can use a boiling pot when you're making, like we talk about pasta sauce a lot, when you're making like a weekend sauce or something like that. You just need a big pot to do it in. You just go ahead and use your boiling pot. I'm a firm believer where pots are multifunction.
I agree.
So you don't have to have one thing. Absolutely.
And on that same thing, like when I first started like building my kitchen, I thought I would have to buy like a fancy set. Where in actuality, you can go to TJ Maxx or whatever place and buy these like pans. They could all be silver or whatever and kind of be in the same family. They don't have to be a matching set. And you can just buy these 3 pieces and you would be fully equipped.
Basically, you don't need a set of Le Creuset.
You don't need them because they have all these little ones and big ones and all they do is take space in your kitchen, and space is at a premium in my house.
Yeah, me too. Although I would love a Le Creuset set, but that's later on in my career.
Yeah, when you have the kitchen where you can hang it off like the ceiling. Like that's my dream.
That may never happen for me, but yes, I understand.
Dream big, Eric. Okay, dream big.
You're right, Mariela.
I'm here to encourage you. And what else do we need? We need a baking sheet.
That's important.
Like a cookie sheet, right?
Right. Just like one of those big silver baking sheets you see. In all honesty, you can buy a baking sheet at a grocery store.
You can.
I go through baking sheets pretty quick. That might be me. Maybe I don't take care of them as much as I should.
Yeah, I think it's you.
Thanks. It is me. And one thing I've actually learned, I do not put baking sheets in the dishwasher. It ruins them really fast.
Yeah, I don't have a dishwasher. I keep things in my dishwasher, like my Tupperware. I don't believe in dishwashers.
Wow.
The silence is deafening. You run a dishwasher for a fork.
I couldn't live without a dishwasher. Listen, my mother, like when dishwashers first came out, like in the 80s, not lying, had her entire kitchen redone to fit a dishwasher in. She was like the shame
pioneer.
of the Cuban community who still doesn't use dishwashers. She was like the shame of it in the 80s, like massive dishwasher in there. So I love my dishwasher. So basically what we're getting down to is if you're out there to start out your kitchen, if you're out there to create a kitchen, you can create it on a great little budget. All you need are these 4 basic items: a saucepan, frying pan, boiling pot, and a baking dish. The only thing that I would highly suggest, saucepan and frying pan, make sure that you can put it in the oven. That will set you back a couple more dollars, but it's 1,000 times worth it. It's completely worth it. You do not have to buy a $600-700 pan.
No.
But spend a couple extra bucks, get the one that you can throw into the oven, and it's going to make a big difference.
I still have I bought an odds and ends kind of set when I first got married, and I still use it. And I bought it at like TJ Maxx. So I recommend it because I know that it actually does work.
Absolutely.
And to extend the life of your cookie sheets, aluminum foil, right? On the bottom. And then
aluminum foil or parchment paper.
I
use
do both
parchment paper
now.
a lot. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I used to just do aluminum and everything would stick. And then I discovered that if you layer them, nothing will stick. You will be like Teflon Don, baby.
Parchment paper is amazing. And you get a lot of parchment paper at the dollar store.
That's where I buy mine.
Yep, me too. And
the bomb. But not aluminum. Aluminum sucks at the Dollar Tree. Sorry, guys.
You know, Mariela, you're going to come to my Dollar Tree.
I'm a snob. I hate when the aluminum foil breaks and it's super thin. I'm like, I digress. Okay, how about what?
I don't like aluminum foil, but we'll talk about that another day.
How could you not like aluminum foil? But absolutely, we'll talk about it another day.
Talk about another day.
I want to move on to electronics. What do you think, Keith? What are the main electronics that we need in a kitchen?
All right. So the 4 electronics that I think we should focus on, okay, is a stand mixer, like a KitchenAid stand mixer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. An immersion blender. These are blenders that you hold with your hand and you immerse it into food to blend it. A regular just standing blender, you know, the kind you make like margaritas with.
Or daiquiris.
Or daiquiris. And a food processor. Okay. So I'm going to tell you something.
Yeah.
A stand mixer, like a KitchenAid stand mixer. To me, that is like the queen of all kitchen products that you can have.
It's a trophy.
It is a trophy. It literally sits out on my kitchen counter. You've seen
it.
It just sits out on it.
Mine too.
Do you need all these things, Mariela? No, you don't need all these things.
No.
If you have a couple extra bucks and you want to buy some of these things, do it.
Mm-hmm.
I am on my second KitchenAid stand mixer, probably in the past, I don't know, 15 years. The first one was a gift. That was a hand-me-down. And the second one Ryan bought me for Christmas 2 years ago when the other one died. So they do last a really long time.
Yes.
But unless you're like an avid baker and you're baking multiple times a week or whatnot, you may not need to spend the $400.
Right. It's a luxury, 100% luxury.
It is a luxury.
Not necessary. However, if you're going to make a lot of cookie dough like I do to freeze, it's the only way I do it because it makes life easier. It absolutely makes life easier. I'm not going to lie. If you're going to bake and you want to really bake and get in there or make bread, it's super helpful for that as well. Then go for it, but absolutely not necessary.
One thing we can say about the stand mixer is the stand mixer itself is quite expensive, but the attachments are not too expensive. You can have a pasta attachment, meat grinding attachment, an ice cream maker attachment. So I think it can pay off just depending what you're going to do. But I totally agree with you. It's a luxury. It's not something that you absolutely need.
You have me very excited about ice cream making lately. We keep talking about it, and I'm like very excited about this.
Summer's coming.
I found a recipe that I'm going to make. I'm going to make you make it. Should we reveal what it is?
Do it.
popcorn ice cream. Butter popcorn ice cream. And you don't need a churn. I'm doing jazz hands.
Recipe. I see the jazz hands.
I'm very excited.
Mine was a tangerine sorbet.
Oh, that sounds so good too. We should do, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to recipe swap it and we're going to talk about how delicious it is because I know you're going to end up liking it.
I'm a little sus on this one.
Oh, I want to look at the cool kid over here, huh?
I know. I was sound like my daughter. We're going to say sus for the young kids out there. So, all right, next, immersion blender.
Okay, so I just got into the immersion blender game. Actually, now that we're talking about this, and I bought like a little set from Target that came with the immersion blender, a little smoothie container, and a little chopper. Okay. And it all uses the same handle interchangeably. And it was like $30. And I gotta tell you, it was a pretty decent investment, which I have used over and over again. And it's really good for soup. If you want to make a creamy soup, I dig it. It sucks at making a smoothie though. Not gonna lie.
I'm not into the immersion blender game.
Yeah, you're not a souper. I like soup.
You're old.
Yeah. I'd love an old lady lunch that consists of like a good crunchy bread and a soup. I'm in heaven. Absolutely. But not necessary. Just got it. I'm 40 something. Don't need it, but I like it.
42. Anyways, so what about just like a regular blender?
They're super useful. I think I've always had a blender on hand. I think everyone does, right?
Right. I would really love like a Blendtec blender.
Oh, but again, you know the one I want? The one with the stick. What is it called?
Blendtec.
No, man, it has another name, but sure, it's like the fancy kind. Man, those look good. Like they could freaking destroy a can or something.
Some of them can freeze things too.
Oh, yeah. Man, what's the name of that blender? I gotta look it up. But yeah, I love those so much. But I don't have one. So expensive.
I don't have an expensive one. I just have a regular blender because I just make margaritas. That's all I use it for. I don't use it for really anything else.
Margarita exclusive blender.
No. I also make a flan in a blender.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll talk about that another day, but I do make a flan. You actually gave me the flan recipe.
Did I?
You did.
Man, I'm good. Past me is amazing.
Amazing. Food processor.
Okay, talk to me. You have one?
Nope.
Okay, so my mom gave me one as like an extravagant gift. I want to say, my God, it's been at least 8 years. It's a Cuisinart. It has all the attachments. It grates and shreds and whatever. It's a beautiful piece of machinery. It makes amazing hummus. However, all the little pieces make it a giant pain in the ass to clean, and I never take it out. It's like an act of God. Like it's something I really have to want to make to push it out of the cabinet and use it. Right. So not necessary, but I want to honorable mention little cheapy food choppers. So like $10-15. I think they're really great and super useful. Yeah. And I think that is something that really helps you get cooking going. Like if you need to get an onion prepped real fast, I think that's something you could definitely use.
I want one. I just haven't purchased one yet. Because I'll be honest, I just haven't justified buying one at the moment. And I'll update you.
Yeah, it came with my immersion blender, which is why I have one now. But I have no regrets.
No, I'm talking about a food processor.
Oh, okay.
No, yes. not your dinky little chopper. I'm talking about
a dinky chopper. That's exactly right. That's a dinky chopper. That's
I'm actually talking about a food processor, Mariela. Like,
well, yeah, I think I've made pie crust dough in it before. It's a revelation. I mean, it does very beautiful, delicate work. I think if you're a real man, you should go. You're gonna have some big energy in the kitchen, Eric. You should definitely get a food processor.
Okay.
No, so you don't need it, right? You don't need any of this.
No, you don't need it. You don't need any of this to make your kitchen function. But if we had to pick one, if we're going to spend money on one thing,
well,
what would it be?
We didn't even mention the one thing I'm going to say.
What are you going to say?
I've had the same handheld beater since I was 10 years old.
Oh yeah, those last a long time.
10. I'm only 15 now, but I was 10 when I got it. And let me tell you, these 5 years, it has really done amazing work for me.
Right. That was like 20 years ago, Mariela, but
longer. I was literally 10 years old. I still have the same one. My mom bought it for me as a gift. I've always loved cooking, and I still have the exact same beater, and it works beautifully. And I think that to me is the best piece of equipment that you could buy if you need it.
I like that. But if we want to stick to an outline here, Mariela, out of not to rein you back in, out of a stand mixer, immersion blender, a regular blender,
I would say, what do you say?
Stand mixer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I feel the stand mixer can do almost everything, like minus chopping.
I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to say blender. I think a blender is more useful. Again, you can make a drink. You can make a soup.
Margaritas.
You can make a margarita. I think it's more useful.
We're going to learn how to make margaritas here.
Man, I cannot wait to have this with you because I'm very excited for summer. Us talking about
stuff we're going to do soon because that's going to be that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes. Yes.
But we're going to do good margaritas. You're going to see. When you come up here next, I'm going to make you some good margaritas.
Okay. Well, I am going to be there with bells on. I'm going to be there with my, and you got those cute glasses from the Dollar Tree so you can put the pretty margarita, right?
Listen, I did. And I got these margarita glasses from the Dollar Tree. They were like $5 at Target. And I went to the Dollar Tree. They were $1.25 and they're actual thick glass and everything. Run to your Dollar Tree and go get margarita glasses. They're cheap, but they're really nice.
Yes, they're beautiful. And they don't sponsor us. However, they should because we have just talked, I don't know how many of their products, but they're really genuinely good products.
Minus you bashing their aluminum foil, which
sucks, and they should fix it, and then I'd buy it.
That's why it's $1.
That's bullshit because all the other things are $1 and they're amazing. So they could do better. Do better, $1.25 Tree.
Yeah, get rid of that name. We know it's $1.
It's a lie. So, hey, do you have a recipe today?
I do have a recipe today.
Is it like a beautiful springtime? I'm in love.
It's a little springtimey. I was thinking about what I can share with everybody because there's a couple holidays coming up for multiple cultures. So I wanted to give something that can be used
by one and all.
Yeah, this is a really good one. So we're going to talk about something simple. I'm going to talk about how to make a glaze.
I love a glaze.
This glaze, let me tell you, Mariela, this glaze is really good on ham. Or this glaze is really good on like a really fatty fish, like a salmon. I really want to use on a tuna or things like that, but I would do on like a nice salmon steak.
But what do you call salmon in Miami?
Salmon.
I just heard somebody say that the other day. And I was like, this is my home.
Like a sandwich. A salmon,
a pizza. Anyway, let's move on. Tell me about it.
All right. So it's a really simple glaze. And the key to this glaze is basically just adjust it to how you feel fit. All right. So it is a bourbon glaze. So you're going to take bourbon. So just like the old little saying goes, cook with what you're going to drink. So if you're going to drink, cook with it because that is going to be the main flavor.
Yeah.
So you go ahead, you're going to put some bourbon into a saucepan.
Okay.
And so if I'm going to have to give you a measurement, this is really bad because I've been making this glaze for so long, I just eyeball it. But if I'm going to have to say, you would probably go ahead and put about, I would say maybe a cup to a half a cup of bourbon.
Okay.
Goes a long way. And then you're going to put them in a saucepan. You're going to go ahead. You're going to put, I would say about a cup of orange juice. And then go ahead and take an orange also, just cut it up or just get that stuff of it. Throw that in there also. You're going to need about a half a packet of brown sugar. Let it all get melty together. And after that, let's throw some cinnamon and nutmeg in there too. Cloves. Cloves are really good also.
Oh, I love cloves.
I love the smell.
Or star anise.
You could put star anise in there. I'm not a big fan of star anise because of licorice. It's like kind of licorice-y.
You don't like licorice?
I don't like licorice at all.
I learn a lot about you in these days that we have these chats.
I know. But yeah, we can talk about licorice one day. I do not like it. You throw it all together. It also does go good if you don't have brown sugar. By the way, this recipe does go good with honey. As a matter of fact, you can throw a little bit of honey in there too. The key is that you're going to get this really nice and bubbly. You're going to let it reduce for a little bit. So you're going to let it simmer for about 15 minutes and just kind of let it reduce. If you're making a ham, most hams are already cooked, basically. When you get them from a grocery store, you're just heating it up. So for about the last maybe 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes that the ham is in your oven, you're going to go ahead and you're going to start basting it about every 10 minutes. So you're going to open the oven door, pull it out, start basting it with a brush. If you don't have a brush, just start pouring some of it over the ham. Throw the ham back into the oven. You're going to do that every 15 minutes. Because of the brown sugar and the honey in there, it's going to candy. You're going to get like this really great candy shell over your
Yummy.
ham. If you're going to do this with fish, so remember fish cooks really quick. So if you're going to do this with fish, you probably want to get the fish in there for a couple minutes just to get all heated up and then go ahead and baste it. I really think it should be done with a salmon. I prefer it with a salmon.
Yeah.
And go ahead and baste it. And you're just going to get that really, again, you're not going to get as much of a candy crunch on the salmon because, again, salmon cooks so much quicker.
Right.
But you're still going to get that nice, sticky, sweet, spice type of flavor, bourbon flavor. I have been doing this glaze for years, and as a no-fail glaze, tweak it to your liking. If you want a little bit more bourbon, put a little more bourbon into it.
What if you want no bourbon? That was my question.
You don't have to do bourbon either. You know, you would still need like some type of astringent type of flavor. Or if you're going to maybe just use orange juice, I would probably scale back on the brown sugar.
Oh, you know what you could use instead? Apple cider vinegar, maybe?
You do apple cider vinegar, yeah.
That could be good.
Also. Just kind of scale back on the sugar or honey. So really, honestly, like just take a taste of it. Be careful to make sure it's not scalding. But take a taste of it. Remember that when you do taste it and it goes on your ham, it goes on your salmon, the flavor is going to be even more concentrated because you've candied it at that point. If it's a little bit weaker than you think you like it, it's probably perfect.
Good tip.
But go ahead and tweak it. Concerned about using alcohol. Remember that when you cook alcohol, the alcohol does burn out.
Yeah.
So you're going to just get the flavor of it more or less.
I only ask because we don't drink bourbon. So I don't know if I'm going to go out and buy it, but I can definitely use apple cider vinegar.
You can definitely use apple cider vinegar. And remember, you can buy like a small thing of bourbon too. You know,
True.
I do keep it in my home because there's certain mixed drinks I like to make with it. But you've been to my home. It's not an everyday alcohol in my house.
Right.
So you can do that also. Do not use dark rum. I thought it would be okay one day. It's not.
Why? Did it burn?
It just didn't go really well. Maybe it burned really quick.
Yeah.
It didn't go very well with that.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay.
No.
Well, I think that sounds delicious. And especially on the salmon, because it's like an everyday thing. And I would maybe be more inclined to buying bourbon if I knew I could use it on salmon. You know, because that's something that I'd eat at least twice a month. That sounds really good, Keith. But I would add the star anise.
Really, really good. And if you just put like that salmon with that real wonderful glaze on it, and all you do is just put it over just white rice.
Oh, that's what I love.
Absorbs a little bit about that.
Yes.
So good.
That's what I love about salmon, that you can literally put it on just plain white rice and broccoli, like that I steam in the microwave, which is my favorite way to cook broccoli. And it's dinner, and it's literally 20 minutes, and it's like fancy dinner in my house.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds yummy. I just recently it was my daughter's birthday, and I made a carrot sheet cake with cream cheese whipped topping, like the frosting. And it's a recipe I got from Bon Appetit. And what I liked about this particular carrot cake was that you don't have to, what is it? Is it shredding carrots or grating carrots? Like, what's the correct term? Shredding it? Okay. So you don't have to shred. What you do is you cut the thin carrots into small pieces and you put them in your blender. And we were just talking about this equipment. You put everything in a blender and you just whiz it together and you put it into your sheet pan, which is amazing, right? Because I never had a carrot cake where I didn't have to work double time. That's why I don't really make it.
You have to put liquid in there to make the carrots like blend easier. Yeah,
absolutely. There's oil and eggs and all like the fun stuff that you make cake with, right? I'm going to put the recipe in the show notes because there's no need for me to repeat all the stuff, but it's generally very basic ingredients. They have a bunch of add-ins in the recipe. They have candied ginger and walnuts and all this stuff. And I didn't use that stuff because my kid is 9 and she's not, digging candied ginger at the moment. So I omitted all that. It was just a cake. And it was the most delicious, moist, tender cake I have ever made in a blender. It was really delicious. And what I really liked was that the cake was sweet, but the cream cheese whip on top was a little bit salty.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And honestly, everyone loved it. The kids loved it. The adults appreciated that it was a little bit different. And it's kind of a perfect spring Easter dessert you could bring out to your table. Sheet cakes are so cute, right? Because they're big, they're pretty, and they're easy.
You're just pouring everything into one sheet pan, letting it bake, and you're just icing it right from there. It reminds me of what it was like when I was a kid.
Right? Yeah.
Make a quick cake.
Exactly. So, and I thought it was a really kind of a cool thing to make, and it would easily feed 15 people. It was really big. Maybe even 20.
You didn't put the nuts in it?
I didn't put nuts or the candied ginger, which I think would be delicious additions, but my kid, she just wanted a carrot cake. So I didn't want to make put things in there that was going to deter her from eating it after I made it, because that's a no-no.
Right. Exactly. That
So,
sounds really
yeah.
good. I've seen it. Like, I've seen it being made before. I haven't made it yet. Carrot
Mm.
cake's one of my favorite cakes.
Yeah, and I like this new way of making carrot cake. I've seen various recipes where they don't have to, I keep forgetting what the term is, grate it, or
Waiting.
I hate grating carrots. First of all, it's a pain. I think it's a huge pain to me. And then when you buy it shredded, they're like hard, right?
Mm.
So you can't really use it. So anyway, that's what I think. And I think you should make this alongside with your little ham, maybe some mashed potatoes. And what else would you serve? Oh, some broccoli roast. Oh, or your Brussels sprouts on the side.
Brussels sprouts on the side.
And you have Easter Passover.
There's Passover. That's why I put the salmon in there. There's Passover.
Yeah. Like you have a complete meal here that's simple and easy and requires very little stress.
And if you're going to make the Brussels sprouts, you can make the Brussels sprouts with the honey and then put the honey in with the glaze. So you're not buying 2 ingredients.
Yeah, which exactly. Make sure, where honey is the best prices at Aldi. I always talk about this. Yeah, because it's like they have the good kind and it's like maybe $5 or $6. And yeah. So I hope we're inspiring you with our very fresh and funky, bushy-tailed spring recipes. I think this is going to be the end of our series where we tell you what to do in your kitchen and how to build it. But who knows? We're always full of good advice that nobody asked for.
Right. You're always good at that. No, I am too, I guess. I think, like we said, this is probably one of the few last ones that we'll actually talk about how to build a kitchen and maybe get more into more recipes and what to do with all the stuff we've been telling everybody to purchase or to look into purchasing.
Yeah.
This is going to be a good base to start your kitchen off with.
And now it's summertime. It's coming, y'all. So we can share with our loved ones, bring people into your house and really impress them.
A lot of fun. Summer, we got a lot of good summer things coming.
Oh my gosh. So we're going to get together and we're going to like summer palooza our lives. And I am so grateful that you guys are coming along for this ride. Is there anything else you want to say, Keith?
It's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun doing this. It's a lot of fun interacting with people and a lot of fun knowing people are listening to this and hopefully having a good time in their kitchen. That's the point of this, just to go in your kitchen, have a good time. Like we said in the beginning, it's not going to be perfect always, but as long as you just enjoy yourself, have a good time, your family, your friends, it's meant for everybody to get together and just
share the love, right?
Right. Absolutely.
And it's like now that COVID's like a thing of the past, I really kind of appreciate these things even more. Yeah. And I want you to appreciate them and I want you to eat well and try new things and love each other just like me and Keeter do.
We do. Love you, Mariela.
I love you, Kiki. All right, you guys, please go ahead and leave us a 5-star review and rate us. Leave us questions. Anything you need. Yeah, email us. Leave us a voicemail. Everything's going to be in the links. Oh, the recipe is also going to be in the show notes. I'm going to put all the stuff down there for you guys. And if you need anything from us, hit us up.
Bye-bye.
Bye.